All right, we are ready to go. All righty. So March 21st. I do not see any members of the public, so we can skip over that. Glenn sent us all the minutes. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any additions, subtractions, corrections?
Nothing.
None?
No.
All right.
No.
I move that we accept the minutes as written. All in favor?
All in
Aye.
favor.
Aye.
All right, they can be posted.
And I did post the other ones,
Good,
or
good.
I reached out. There's an email that you send it to,
Yeah.
and I forgot what it was, and I had to call town hall to, and they knew exactly where to send it to, so
Good, good.
so they're
Yeah.
sent out.
So now you have it.
Now I got one more to send out.
Yeah, and then you can send these. Good. All right, so I'll bring it up to date on the Earth Day table. Cape Light Compact will be providing us with materials like handouts on heat pumps, and I'm going to pick that up next Wednesday at my meeting. So we don't have to like print anything or do anything like that. We will have plenty of material. And I see, we've been sort of last minute here sending stuff around. I agree that the
I'd say
mass save.
if you could set it up with a laptop,
Yeah, and just have it loop through.
I think that would probably be.
Yeah.
I mean, it answered every question I had about heat
Yeah,
pumps.
yeah. And,
What's
so
the
we'll,
date again?
go ahead, Charlie.
What's the date?
23rd.
22nd?
Oh, Earth Day.
Yeah.
Or the,
Oh gosh. You would-
April 22nd.
yeah, you asked this the last time,
Yeah,
Charlie.
it's coming up.
The date and the time, you need that. Are we all supposed to be there?
I mean, what I'm envisioning, I don't have it right in front of me, Charlie. I'll email that to you when I get home. Is,
The date and the time.
right. I think it's,
2 o'clock?
it's going to be all day, but what I'm envisioning is that we're not all there all the time. That when we get close, we will, like, I could be there like for the
Maybe we can divvy
morning.
up the time
We can work
between
it out.
us.
We'll divvy up the time, and I think it's the 22nd. But
Yeah, that's what I remember.
yeah, I think it's the 22nd. I'm pretty sure it's like almost all day, but I'll email that to everybody when I get home. I don't see it in my stuff right now.
Val, Cape Lake Compact's going to give you handouts. What's the topics that they're going to?
Heat pumps.
Oh, heat
Yeah,
pumps. okay.
for our table, they have specific heat
Okay.
pump. It'll be things like, just general information. It'll also be like how to apply for a heat loan. It'll be how to get the rebates,
Okay.
that type of thing that people can have.
Did you get that email that I sent out to everybody?
Yes.
About what the annual, a lot of people are going to be asking for this, how much are they going to save? And it depends on two things. One is what they're switching from, whether if they got natural gas, it's probably not much of a savings at all. But if they have a baseboard heater, it's a huge savings. It also depends on people like myself, how many months of the year they actually heat the house.
Right,
So
right.
you got the two factors in there. If they're not there in the wintertime, and if they have, again, natural gas, there's probably no savings for them. You see what I'm saying?
Yep,
So we
yep.
have to be prepared to know all this information. First, we have to start out with what do you have now, and how many months of the year do you heat? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm surprised you base the fact that it's the same, because I have natural gas and I pay like 260, 250. And if I move to a heat pump, I want to save money. Otherwise, I don't want to move.
Yeah, well,
Well, one thing, if you have solar collectors on the roof, then that's a different story.
That
So
was
you-
my question.
because you
Okay.
already make your electricity,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But
Okay.
if you're paying for electricity,
So you have to include that too. But I mean, I'm assuming if there's no solar collectors, okay?
right.
Okay,
In that case.
okay.
That's obviously going to fluctuate with the price of gas.
We're going to sit at that table and explain that to them, okay?
Right.
So we
And
have
then
to ask
also,
more questions.
Right, and also if you are putting in the heat pumps, and we're talking mini splits. There are no rebates or special programs right now for like ground source heat pumps. These are just the mini splits. That's the program.
But they could be, air air source ones with the duct system, right?
Right. That can happen. And but if you have a person who's replacing their old like window unit air conditioners with high efficiency heat pumps, they're going to save money
splits
overall, you know, because because during the cooling season, their heat pump is going to cool more efficiently than their like window unit air conditioner. So I agree with you, Charlie. There's a lot of different factors. I don't know if anybody had a chance. There's a website that you can go to that is like a questionnaire, and you just answer these questions, and it gives you all kinds of feedback on whether you're a good candidate for this, that, or the other thing. So there's a bunch of stuff out there that helps people make those decisions. I just got a call today, a text from a friend who is getting on the verge of putting in heat pumps. She's got 3 different contractors, and now she needs me to go over and help her like decide what she's supposed to do. You know, so
you will learn a lot and share it with us.
Yeah. So anyway, but you're right, Charlie. We'll try to have a lot of that information as well. But I think that it'll be a good place for people to start asking questions. You know, April is like the beginning. People are starting to think about cooling, and for most people, the mini splits are kind of their first thought is, oh, I want better air conditioning. You know,
Or if they don't have air conditioning.
or if they don't have air conditioning because they have baseboard heat, it's a way to get the air conditioning and also heat. But anyway, I will send all of that out. I'm pretty sure it's the 22nd, and I'll get the exact times that they're going to be running that.
We did it last year. I think we started at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Yeah. So I'll get that out to you.
So it's not all day then?
It might be. I don't know.
Because this year is going to be different.
This year is going to be a little bit different. Let me just look back and see if there's anything.
The
in
presentation
old minutes.
that Cape Light Compact lasts for how long typically? 15 minutes?
What do you mean?
The presentations that they make. That's what I recall from
Oh yeah,
Easton.
they're not long.
Because that's important. That
Yeah,
then
April
creates
22nd.
that creates questions and answers, and that
So
45 minutes max.
Max, yeah. So
these Cape Light Compact presentations, are they done hourly, or are they done once a day, or?
I have no idea. See, this whole Earth Day thing, we're not running it. We're just going to man a table there. It's not our program. You know, it's we're just we're participants. We're not in charge of it.
Should we talk or touch on
Well,
this?
are we set on Earth Day? I'll get the times out to you,
But along the Earth Day, this email sent by Martin Kulik.
Oh, that's a different topic.
But again, it's an education program.
Right, but it's a different program. It's not the Earth Day program. The Earth Day program is a separate program.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
still, it's education.
Right.
What else are we going
That's
to
number
talk about?
5 on the agenda.
Okay.
So let's stick
Let's
to
finish
number
Earth
4.
Day.
So you've got handouts.
Right, we'll have
and-
handouts.
And then.
I can bring a computer. We can. I'll try to find out from because it's going to be at Sisson Road, right?
Right, 204.
204. You know if they have good Wi-Fi there, then we can just loop that. You know, just keep playing it. I found some really good like diagrams of heat pumps, like the different kinds of heat pumps, which I'll print and just have out on the table to like point to so people can see what we're talking about.
Poster boards? No?
Yeah, those are
Just a
unwieldy. Yeah, we'll just have the table, computer, handouts.
Can we each bring our own computer?
We probably only need one computer if we're just going to be. But I mean, you're certainly welcome to bring it if you want. I mean.
Well, I mean, you're going to need to give us your passwords or whatever to get onto it, like the screen password or something.
Right. Well. Oh, right. If I'm not there, yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe you can. We'll see. We'll work that out. Because we will be meeting one more time before the 22nd. April 18th is our next meeting, so I'll have all the handouts. I can show you what they look like. I'll bring my computer. We can loop through that thing. Will you be back by then? Will you be back by
Yes,
April?
we're we're coming back the first week in April.
Oh, good. So we'll all be here April 18th, hopefully, and we'll. It doesn't have to be. It's not that big a deal, you know. We're just basically pointing people in the right direction, answering basic questions. All right. So we'll get back. We'll finish that up on the 18th. Okay. So number 5. So Martin is the chair of Cape Light Compact Board. He also works with the Town of Orleans Energy Committee and their Climate Action Network group. And they, so, and then somebody from the Eastham Climate Action Group got together, and then they called me, and we've had a couple of meetings. And so what number 5 is on the agenda is we're going to create a program, and it's going to be a canned program, basically. So, and we're going to offer this program at a bunch of different places. You can see that what I forwarded you, that email. You know, it has a list of
the
all
Martin
the different.
Colored one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So with all the different, there's going to be 2. We're going to do it 2 times in Eastham, 2 times in Orleans, and 2 times in Harwich.
Okay.
It'll be the same exact program. So
Okay.
if you miss it in Orleans, you can come to the Harwich one.
Okay.
You know, so it won't be any.
So this will replace what we were talking about
Oh,
with
it won't
McNeil's.
replace. It doesn't have to replace, but it is a stepping stone towards. This is much simpler.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering what we talked with and learned from McNeil's. Is that still in the horizon, or?
It can be if you want it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we should go through this first and then figure out.
I think so, because what we have done with this one
Yeah.
is we're coordinating with Cape Light Compact, and we're kind of saying, hey, you want us to help you get the word out, then you need to help us. So Cape Light Compact is going to do all the advertising. They're going to do all the marketing for this.
Is this
And
the
they're
first time they do this? That Cape Light Compact is working on educating the
Oh,
public?
no, they'll come. Cape Light Compact will always come. We had them come to our thing last year. Remember they had one of the, our Tuesday
I
things?
remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
So they'll come anytime you ask them to.
But-
And they're going to be at every single one of those.
Yeah, okay.
So, but
Okay.
this is the first time that we've asked them to handle things like advertising. I mean, pay for it.
To be part of the organizational aspect.
Right.
Okay.
Well, what did you mean by canned program?
So it's going to be so there's going to be topics that's being fine-tuned right now.
Topics pertaining to?
Energy, you know,
Okay.
and it will be like a slide show. Somebody from Cape Light Compact will always be at one of these. It may not be the same person at every one, but a Cape Light Compact
Will be present.
person will be present. The slideshow will go over the basics, like energy efficiency, like how to get an audit, and then some of the programs like heat pumps and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And then what we're envisioning is a 30 to 40 minute presentation, and then encouraging whoever's in the audience to ask questions, you know, specific to their needs, like.
Yeah, I recall that at the Eastham workshop, one thing I think was missing is being very specific with the numbers. Say, people who make under $50,000
Yeah.
are entitled of,
Right, this, that, yeah.
because that helps people say, well, I qualify for
Right.
this, or I'm disqualified.
Right,
That would be very
right,
helpful.
right, yeah. And so
Numbers.
the nitty-gritty of the program is still being worked on, like the actual.
Yeah, I hear you.
Who was the catalyst? Who
Now,
kicked this
are
off?
we required to attend all 6 of these?
No. I mean, it'd be nice if we could attend the Harwich ones, but no, you do not have to attend.
Like at May 9th, when I'm looking at, we're gonna be in Iceland then.
Yeah, no, that's, the Harwich one is, you know.
May 9 and June 22nd.
Right, you know, if you could come to the June one, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I can come to June.
Yeah,
yes.
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
So anyway, so the topics to the PowerPoint will be, and you know, so it's sort of this is supposed to be sort of a generic program, you know,
Okay.
just to not a, you know, in-depth workshop on solar or an in-depth workshop on, you know,
like the Eastern
right,
one.
right. So this is basically
Yeah.
to get people interested. What I like about it is we don't have to really do anything. And the other thing I liked about it is it's getting us to work with other towns. So this is, we're working with
Yeah.
Eastham and Orleans.
Yeah.
So it's sort of breaking the ice and doing something together and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
doing that type of thing.
And I love the title, Do the Right Thing, Save Money.
Yeah.
Because people love that.
Yeah. So that's in progress. We have our dates, we have our locations. Cape Light Compact will be developing like a flyer. They'll also be putting it on the radio, in the newspaper, you know, that type of thing. Because, you know, one of the things we talked about was the constraints that the town committees have, that none of us have budgets, you know, so we can't
Yeah.
print things or, you know, put anything in the newspaper. So Cape Light Compact said, and they would handle that. So it's also a nice.
Valerie, do you think we could get a budget to do things like that? To
Nope.
At least advertise?
No, that's not the scope of this committee. So what we're doing is we're leveraging our relationships with other committees, which is, you know, the climate action committees are nonprofits. They're not town committees, so they have more flexibility. Cape Light Compact has more flexibility. They can offer this as a somewhat like a donation, like an in-kind donation to the.
So what's the catalyst of this? This was something that came through Cape Light Compact?
I think Martin and I think a couple who came and spoke to us the other
McNeilis?
yeah, him.
And the other guy.
And
That's okay. I was just
Yeah.
curious, but that does, Cape Light Compact was the catalyst of this. It kind of
Cape Light
approached you.
Compact people, but not the organization.
Gotcha.
All right, so these are people, like Martin is the chair
Chairman
of
of
the,
the,
but he's doing it as more of a, like an Orleans resident needing to, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we're leveraging our relationship with Cape Light Compact, but it's not their
Gotcha.
program per se.
So we're not putting together any presentations on our part. We're going to attend because they're nice enough to collaborate with the three towns.
And then technically, you know, I'll have input on what goes into the PowerPoint, but it's generic.
Okay.
And what about
Gotcha.
other energy committees? Are they participating?
Yeah, the Eastham and the Orleans energy committees, not every single person. We haven't had like a joint, you know, I haven't asked you guys to attend a joint meeting. It's really just been one or two people from each of those organizations sort of getting it moved along.
Now, I'm curious to know if we interact and learn from other energy committees, or it's just only the meeting that Liz Argos organizes. It's the only opportunity when
so far that's pretty much been
the only one.
The only one at this point. I think if you were to attend any of these events, these 6 events, like if you went to the one in Orleans, you would meet the Orleans people, you know, and it would be an opportunity to talk. But we haven't done any sort of formal, let's get together and plan something.
But you don't, for example, you attend all those Liz Argos meetings.
I go to Liz Argos meetings,
Do you hear something that you, I can apply that, I can use it?
Sometimes, yes. The town energy committees are all like us, you know, they're advisory. They don't have the power to really do much. You know, they go to the town and they tell the town what they should be doing.
Are they green communities also, Orleans and Eastham?
Yes.
Okay.
The only one on the Cape that's not is Barnstable.
Okay.
So. But anyway, so so that's the update on that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we'll meet again before any of that happens. So if anything different, and I'll always just shoot you an email if if I get any new information or forward you like I did today what's happening with that.
I didn't see the today one, but it doesn't matter.
Right,
I'll see it tomorrow morning.
I think that the most important part of this one that we're doing with East Ham and Orleans is that it's happening often enough so that if anybody sees it in the paper or hears it in on the radio, it's not like a one shot where they miss it. There's several opportunities for them to come
to catch up. Yeah.
And we're also, people that do come, we encourage them to go home and tell their friends to go to the next one, that type of thing, and I think that'll be helpful. Any other questions on that? Number 5?
No.
Okay. Number 6, Cape Lake Compact. I did go to the selectmen's meeting. The last one they had, they only have them every other week now, I think. But I went to the last selectmen's meeting, and I just gave them an update on some of the programming, like the low-income, moderate-income programming that's been happening. And now nonprofits are eligible for, like my little church. We are now eligible, and so our church had an energy audit, and we're getting all kinds of insulation, heat pumps, everything for free.
Oh, how beautiful!
So that's new. Nonprofits were kind of left out of the whole thing for a long time. So all of that information is on the Cape Lake Compact website, of course, but I just reminded everybody. So I did report to the, and if you go to the Cape Lake Compact website, the tables of what makes you income eligible are printed. They're in the website. Okay. So you can go and you can see what the cutoff is, for income eligibility for some of the programs that they have. And I always tell people that when you call, like, not everybody likes to go on the web, computers and, that type of thing. But when you call Cape Lake Compact, you get a real person, and they're not in India. They're
here
on White's Path in Yarmouth.
So you can understand.
Yeah, that's super important.
and they can give you the information. Like if you want, what is the income cutoff?
Yeah.
If you don't feel like going to the website, you can just call them.
Yeah.
Where do I get the application for rebates? You can go on the website, or you can call them. So there's always that option there. So that's pretty much, like I said, I used to have the Cape Lake Compact meeting and then this meeting. But now I have this meeting and then the Cape Lake Compact meeting stuff next week. So I'm sort of a month behind when it comes to reporting to you guys. Anything new from CVAC?
No, not from CVAC.
I did go on. There's a state. There are some websites where you can go to look at becoming part of a community solar program. There's community solar programs going on all the time, not necessarily on the Cape, but you can sign up. And so,
where?
Everywhere. The Wareham, and they're all over the state.
But what do we Google? Community solar program?
Yeah, community solar. And there's websites you can go to help you sign up. You know what I'm saying.
And it works like self-reliance?
No, it works. Basically, you just sign up and you get a slight reduction in your electric bill. It wouldn't work for you because you don't have an electric bill, but
yeah, but my granddaughter.
But if anybody who's paying an electric bill can go to a community solar program, and they're all slightly different. So buyer beware. Always look at the fine print and check them out.
Isn't it income based?
No.
No?
No, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. And you can just sign up, and what it does is it gives you a slight reduction in your, so if
Like
you're paying,
self-reliance.
yeah, so if you're paying like 18 cents a kilowatt, and you sign up for community solar, it might drop you to like 16 cents a kilowatt, or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
So it's not gonna wipe out your electric bill, but it's gonna
like
give
a
you,
$30,
Yeah.
$40 rebate.
yeah, it'll give you a slight reduction. So now,
Do you do this in lieu of your normal supplier? Or
no, you do it in conjunction with your normal supplier.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's I was personally surprised at how many of these programs are out there. And that's just in Massachusetts.
But you're saying community, does that mean the town of Harwich does this, or the individual?
Individual.
Okay,
We,
gotcha.
of course, my dream would be to have our own community solar, where the electricity is actually generated here, and we offer it just to Harwich residents, you know, that type of thing. But that's pie in the sky right now. So, but
Well, you say it's pie in the sky, but, I mean, we've talked about it a number of times, about using that property in Queen Anne. And if we really want to be serious about it, then we should draft a letter from the committee to Joe Powers or to the select committee and say,
can you look
hey,
into it?
that our committee recommends that we go down this path for the town of Harwich. I mean, if that's something we really want to do, then I'd start with just a letter to inform them, just get them thinking about it.
Now, the woman who's head of CVEC, Marie?
Not Marie, but yeah.
Maria.
Maria.
Maria,
Yeah.
okay.
Maria and Maria, it's the same thing. To
Could
me.
you shoot her an email and ask her if CVEC in any way could be a broker for finding a developer? Because that's the problem. You can't have a solar farm unless somebody puts one there. And what happens with community solar is that somebody builds the system. They take all the renewable energy credits, and they take all the tax deductions, and that's how they make their money. But then they have to, the thing is making electricity, so the electricity has to go somewhere. And so people in town could be the off-takers, you know, they could be the
They have to sell
beneficiaries
it,
of the electricity.
I
But
would-
it's finding those contractors is the.
Yeah, I can do that. I will do that for the next meeting. I will. But what's the first thing that somebody from the select committee would say would be, well, what's in it for me? What's in it for the town of Harwich? And we'd have to have a good answer for that question.
Right, but just a discounted electricity for the residents. It wouldn't help the town budget.
I understand,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't necessarily help every citizen
No.
of Harwich either. It would be something that citizens of Harwich could partake in.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send something to her.
And I'll talk to Megan again at Self-Reliance and just get some more information about what they're doing. I know they've had a little bit, you know, they took on the administrative part of it, and that's the other thing. Somebody has to run the program. It's not like, it doesn't run itself.
So CVEC would be the one that runs the program?
CVEC, because
Would be the broker.
they would hopefully help us identify developers who might be interested in building a solar farm. You know, so because I don't know these people.
Yeah, and I know the prices have skyrocketed since COVID.
Right. So it may not even be economically feasible at this point.
At this point, it might
But
not.
once you build it, somebody has to administrate the program. They have to get the off-takers, hook them up, you know, get their, you know, electric bills and, you know, manage the, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think that would be CVEC's role.
No,
But
no,
I
no.
do think that whoever the contractor is that builds it for us, that would be worked into that contract.
Exactly.
So that we just, as the town of Harwich goes,
Right,
here's the property,
right,
and to the citizens of Harwich, thank you very much.
right,
And
exactly,
everybody makes money, hopefully,
right.
or saves
So we'll
money.
see, we'll see. I mean, it,
Both,
you know,
make and save.
They'll make it, and hopefully the citizens of Harwich will save it.
right,
Right.
and, you know, and who knows? You know, but it's something that, you know, it's kind of in the back burner, but we can think about it. And, anyway.
Okay.
Anything new about EV charging stations?
Yes. I didn't CC you on it, but I sent something to Joe back earlier in the week, and he's holed up in his office putting together all the warrants
I know.
and whatnot for the town meeting. And obviously, one of the bullet points that I had on there was have you make sure that we are on there. I know I've seen it on his whiteboard in there, but seeing it on a whiteboard
Right.
versus seeing it on the
Right.
agenda are two different things. So his admin was going to get back to me and let Joe know that I was looking for information on that. I also gave him information in my email pertaining to costs and where I think, see, he looks for us to make recommendations. He's said it a couple of times that their job is to do, our job is just to make recommendations.
Right, right.
So whereas I could say, if you want me to, I'll go on and I'll look for the money from the state and do it for you. You know, I don't think he necessarily wants, and that's fine, I don't necessarily want
No,
to
you
do
don't
it
want to.
either, but I gave him all that information, what the cost would be. Now, in talking to Sean from
Yep.
Barnstable, he's really helpful. There's certain things that I'm finding out on where the money is coming from. And one of the things that I sent to Joe was that we had talked about making it a level 3 charger, right?
Yeah, but,
And then I said, I made a command decision, I said, no, I'm gonna tell Joe, let's stick to the original plan,
let's-
because when I
yeah.
did the research, there's like 2,600 charging stations in the state of Massachusetts, and it's a very small number of level 3 chargers that are out there. So they're pretty, I don't want to say rare, but level 2 seems to be the normal mode of operation. So I said, let's stick with that, so we're not changing what was originally
Yeah.
submitted to Eversource. And I think he'd be okay with that. Now, the other thing that, in talking to Sean, they're doing about $500,000 worth of projects. They're doing between 20 and 30 charging stations. I mean, they're putting in 5 at the airport, and there's multiple projects within their whole program.
And their money is coming from grants?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sean sent me something this morning, and this is just for one project, okay? Now, for his overall, for everything, for his $500,000, I think he said that the town would only be liable for $10,000 to $20,000 of that $500,000. That essentially, you're not doing anything as far as money. You know, $10,000 to $20,000, and you're getting all these charging stations. It's coming from the state, it's coming from Eversource, so on. So he sent me. That was just, you know, he was pulling numbers out when I was talking about on the phone. He sent me something that was a little bit more specific. So here's one project. So this one project is $135,000, and they're for 5 level 2 dual port chargers. So like the charge point ones that you see down here at the park ride. That's exactly what he's talking about. It's a level 2 dual port charger. And to put in 5 of those, he broke it out that it's going to be about $60,000 from Eversource to do the utility work, so to bring the electricity to the charging station itself. About $40,000 from Eversource for the charging equipment, which I don't quite understand, because he's telling me that Eversource is offering up all this stuff other than the make-ready stuff. But that's what he's telling me. About $5,000 from Eversource for software, about $25,000 from the state, the Mass EVIT. So for this $135,000 project, he's committing $5,000 from the town, and he thinks it's going to be more likely to be $3,000. So they're putting in 5 charging stations like we want. We only want 1. And the town is only going to be, you know, anteing up let's say $3,000 to $5,000.
But is Sean sharing with you, like?
He'll share me anything.
How did that happen? Like,
Well, the first number.
is it because he's having so many, because Barnstable is committing to so many of them?
I think some of that is there, but the thing that I didn't understand, because I think you and I were always on the same page, right? You have the make-ready plan, which Eversource will bring the electricity to the charging station. You don't pay anything
Right.
for that. And then you've got the equipment, and you've got the installation of that equipment. And we always thought, right, that would be more our nickel.
Right.
But, just like you had the email that you sent out
Right.
for the EVIP program,
Right.
which I know Joe has, and I put that in my email again, that since I'm not doing it and you want to own
Right.
it, that I'm assuming that you're going forward with this.
Yeah.
So through the EVIP program, they're getting $25,000. So as far as the $60,000 from Eversource for utility work, that's
Yeah.
already covered, right,
Yeah.
from what we thought.
Right.
$40,000 from Eversource for the charging equipment, that's different than what you and I
Right.
thought. So I don't know, you told me that this is the case, that they're giving them some free level 3 chargers. I don't know, it's just because of the scope of work.
Right,
And I didn't want,
right.
he works for a living, I already
Right.
had him on the phone for 20 minutes, I didn't
Right.
want to, take up his whole day.
He works for Barnstable, not Harwich.
Exactly. But these numbers are such that,
Glenn,
I didn't ask him all the locations, but I can tell you that specifically, they're putting in 5 at the airport, but he told me they're putting in between 20 and 30 in total around the whole town. So I'm sure that they're gonna have some at their community center, some at schools, but I'm guessing, because I didn't ask him for his scoping document or any maps showing where they're gonna be placed in the town of Barnstable, but.
Don't forget, Barnstable's huge.
Yes.
So.
So, and he seems to be very excited. He's got a lot of enthusiasm, he's just right out of college, and, it sounds like his hair's on fire from the way he's talking. He's chasing a lot of things. But essentially the point I want to make is, for the town of Barnstable to get $500,000 worth of charging stations for somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 out of pocket, and specifically for what he sent me this morning, they're looking at $3,000 to $5,000 out of pocket for 5 dual port charging stations. So when I do talk with Joe, I'll ask him, what is it that you're actually putting in your warrant to the town to ask them for? And I'll ask him, well, what amount of money do you think is going to cause 0 hiccups? Is it 25,000? Is it 30,000?
Well, and also, hopefully, who is talking to Eversource? Is it Joe? I mean.
Joe would be the guy, but Joe might be delegating to somebody in town,
Right.
not me.
Right.
But he's probably got somebody that he would.
We need-
And he told me that he's got, I forgot who, I put it in my notes somewhere, but he's got somebody that would be owning this and going forward. I don't think it's Joe per se.
But that person needs to be able to talk to Eversource to make sure that we're getting the best deal possible.
And there's only 2 people that he's talked to at Eversource, and I got their names and contact information. So does Joe, because
Right.
I was on a telecon with him, with
Right.
Joe,
Right.
for one of the meetings when I said, well, we might want to do a level 3.
Yeah.
So, and that's Chris Andres, but in
can
talking
we
to,
invite this guy to the next meeting, this guy that's supposed to handle this?
the guy from Barnstable,
No, the guy.
He said Joe was gonna have a person.
We should probably find out
Oh,
who Joe
oh,
has
oh.
delegated this to. So is it Sean
Yeah, that would
Libby?
be
Is it, is
Yeah,
it
it
who?
would be terrible if it's Sean Levy. That guy doesn't have any time.
Yeah,
It would be great if it is someone who knows about these things,
right. It does take somebody to get your best deal, to get the most rebates and all of that. It does take some time. You have to research it, you have to know where to go to get it, you've got to make the applications, you've got to, it's like this kid, from Barnstable, this is his job.
exactly.
This is all he does. He doesn't do
Exactly.
anything else. This is his job. And unfortunately, we were a little, remember how we felt sorry for ourselves because we didn't get in on the shared energy person? Well, they have not even hired him yet. The money hasn't even been encumbered in a couple of towns, so that's not going to go very far, very fast. Barnstable and Falmouth, they did the right thing. They created a position. But
So anyways, that's all I have to
Yeah.
report on EV charging, so I want to, the most important thing is that it's on the docket for the
Right.
annual meeting.
You know, if you have the time to either to try to
Find out.
get in touch with Joe and share some, you know, say, look,
No, that is.
Barnstable is doing this. This is, we need to make sure that we are taking advantage of these
Yeah.
programs.
What I was going to do was,
Yeah.
and I didn't do it this morning,
Yeah.
I was going to forward him this email from Sean,
Yeah.
and in an email that I did send earlier in the work, I mentioned Sean.
Yeah.
I said, hey, this is where they're getting all these breaks and prices and whatnot. Here's Sean's contact information.
Yeah.
Somebody from your office should be calling him because he's a wealth of information. So I did share all that with him
Right.
already, but I don't want it, I'm not going to sit on my hands until, you know, May 1st when
No.
they're having the meeting. I'm going to try next week to see if I can
Right,
actually
right.
get in and talk
And-
with him.
And you gotta tell Joe that whoever he has delegated this to is really the person you should be talking with, because you could help, if that person
Yeah.
is,
That's
has
a
the
good point.
authority to.
Ask for help.
Well, also,
For
the
guidance.
town person would have the authority to enter into contracts and to say, we have no ability to do any of that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But if you can be in contact with the person who's gonna be in charge of this, and make sure they're getting their information,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with doing all that.
yeah,
And I did, you know, when I reached out to Joe, I told him, I said, you know, in Barnstable, they didn't go out to bid. Because one of the things, when I was on the
Right.
telecon with Eversource was, remember, recommended bidder, Eversource bidder?
Mm-hmm.
And Eversource sent us that list. And when I talked to Barnstable, the vendor they used is off from that list. So I sent that to Joe, and I said, hey, this is who Barnstable's using. They're happy with this person so
and they're
far.
already on the Cape, and sometimes if you can loop yourself into a company that's already here, they're already doing work
That's where the
here.
phone call, if I was me, I'd be saying, hey, I was talking to Sean Hogan from Barnstable,
Right.
and I know that you guys are working on a number of projects there, and he's giving me some guidance here, and you know what, we're looking at the same timeline as Barnstable, we're looking at doing a couple of things. Could you kind of make sure that you schedule the work so that it's being done at the same time that Barnstable's doing the work? If the vendor's already here on the Cape doing the work, head another 20 miles up the road and
Right.
take care of us, so. But that's
All
what
right,
I would
well,
do.
do the best you can, you know, I mean, that's all we can do, right? And,
Yeah, I think we're in okay shape. I just want to make sure that, you know, Joe's getting the right amount of money set aside and that nothing's being
Is
set at
Barnstable
that.
use level 3 or level 2?
2. With maybe some level 3s, but they're doing 30 of them, so, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very different.
Can a level 2 be upgraded to a level 3?
no, I don't,
Sometime in the future?
No, because you need so much more electricity that you have to have a transformer and all kinds of things.
yeah, if you look at the level 3 chargers, I think that's 480 volts, Charlie. And more than likely, they'd have to have a pad transformer that they set right by the chargers, whereas the level 2 is 220 volts, just like you might have installed in your house.
Absolutely.
And they would just put a pole-top transformer
Oh,
out on the street, which would be
It's
less
5
work
hours.
and less money too, so. But I do think in the future, that when we decide to put in multiple charging stations for the town, that we should be having level 3 chargers, so that if we have electric vehicles that the town owns, that the guys aren't bitching that it's taking them, you know, 8 hours to charge their vehicles, they can get it fully charged in half an hour and away they go, so.
Although with the town vehicle, they should,
It's not, it won't work if they lose the level 2s for town vehicles. I know what's gonna happen.
Well, but the town, it should work fine, because they work 9 to 5. And if they come in the morning and it's been charging all night, and then plug it back in when they go home.
But the point I made to Joe is, we want to make sure we're successful on the first one,
Yes.
so that people aren't turning their nose up at doing more, so.
And we also have to make sure we understand who is maintaining these chargers.
True.
Yeah,
Very,
whoever, you know, however that works out to be. All right, well, thank you for keeping on to that. It's a process. All right, and so Jacqueline, you said something about looking at our charge from the town. You
I
sent me an
forgot
email at
about
some
that.
point,
I forgot about that completely.
and,
We will need to revisit it next time because
Okay.
I would have to be ready.
okay. It was updated relatively recently, because that's when they changed us from just the Harwich Energy Committee to the Harwich Energy and Climate Action Committee. And,
Yeah,
so we'll look at that again.
yeah.
Any other topics that were not able to make it to the agenda in a reasonable?
Also,
All right, so basically, you know, we've got the Earth Day table on heat pumps. Just keep learning as much as you can about heat pumps. You know, self-educate, watch those videos. I'll be picking up those brochures and things from Cape Light Compact.
are you gonna get those electronically, maybe? Or are they just handouts that,
I think if they're paper,
well, my question is, I was thinking about putting together what you didn't know, like 20 things, and pulling from all these different things, and maybe just having a handout that, you know, the 20 things or 25 things you didn't know about heat pumps, and pulling from all the sources of information. I was thinking about doing that, so if you have that you could forward to me electronically, I could maybe pull,
okay, I can scan it and
that's fine.
send it to you.
That's
Whatever they give me,
Whatever
I
they
can
give
scan
you.
it and send it to you. April 18th, is that going to be okay for people?
I don't have my planner in front of me, but I see no reason why it's not.
Okay. That'll be the last meeting that I can do at 3 o'clock. Then I
you
go
go-
back to work in May.
When you go, May 1st?
Beginning of May, I don't have the exact date yet, but, so, we would have to make other arrangements. Or, once I figure out what my days off are going to be, you know, we could change it from a Thursday to one of my days off if the afternoon works better for people. But we'll work on that as we get there. And that's it.
Okay,
Very well.
Alrighty,
wow. 3:55.
we are
Let's do
getting
that.
very efficient.
Yes.